Today, AHID is announcing a man has been arrested and charged with first-degree murder in connection with the homicide of Emily Sakalis. Her body was found in an area just north of Boston Bar near Highway 1 on August 22nd. Ms. Sakalis was a Belgian national who was traveling in Canada. Since the initial deployment, AHID detectives have diligently advanced this investigation and collected significant evidence with respect to the homicide investigation of Emily Sakalis. Now, after less than 4 weeks following Ms. Sakalis' death, the investigative journey has yielded a criminal charge against the primary suspect. On September 14, 2018, AHID and its partner agencies arrested 27-year-old Sean McKenzie of Oliver, BC. Mr. McKenzie has been charged with first-degree murder and will be appearing before a judge in BC Provincial Court. AHID investigators work relentlessly to secure and compile the evidence for charge approval, and we couldn't have done it without the tremendous support of our many partners. Emily's family in Belgium has been notified of the developments in her case, and AHID hopes that this will help them in their healing process. You can take your questions.
What do we know about this gentleman?
So Mr. McKenzie, I can tell you that he is not known to police, that he does not have a criminal record. My understanding is that he travels extensively through the province. He drives around the province quite a bit for work, but that's about it.
Do we know what his job is? Can you elaborate on that?
No, but my understanding is that he travels extensively through the province. And part of the reason for us in sharing the photograph of Mr. McKenzie today is that we're hoping that people who now, they've known his name in the media since this past weekend, but now they have a face to a name. And we're hoping that people who saw Mr. McKenzie, perhaps with Ms. Sakalis on August 22nd, to please contact IHIT. We're certainly not done in the investigation. We're open to speaking with anyone who has yet to come forward to speak with police.
I have seen the Chevrolet van from the crime scene. How that was associated.
So I can tell you it's associated to our accused, yes.
Is this the man that was arrested August 22nd at the scene of the crime? Is that McKenzie?
It's the same man, yes.
Can you elaborate on what he was detained and then released on the 22nd? I know you didn't have enough evidence, obviously, to kind of hold him. What changed in the last couple of weeks?
So Mr. McKenzie was arrested by the attending officers, and he was released sometime later. I can't really get into the details of the case. I mean, it's before the courts. We have to respect that process, obviously. But what I can tell you is that we've gathered significant evidence in the past almost, less than 4 weeks since the start of the investigation on August 22nd. Our investigators it's been nonstop. It's been go, go, go for them. It's been long hours, long days, and long weeks to compile all the evidence to present before Crown Counsel, who've made the decision to charge this man for first-degree murder. So a lot has happened, and unfortunately I can't get into the details at this time, but it will certainly all play out in court.
Do we know, Frank, how long they knew each other? Did they just meet each other? Have they known each other a little bit longer? I know she's a tourist, but have they known each other for some time?
So I can tell you that they had just recently met that day, in fact, and can't go into further details on that.
Did you pick her up? Did he was he?
That's our belief, yes.
Because she went on Facebook. Is there any connection at all with Facebook? Did she say, I'm looking for a ride? Did she meet on that Facebook site?
Well, we know that our victim, Ms. Sakalis, frequents a Facebook page. Unfortunately, I can't get into any more details on that. But like I said, what I can tell you is that they had just recently met. Yeah.
But do we know when, where? Do you believe that she was picked up by the gentleman?
We believe it was somewhere between Penticton and the location where she was eventually found later that evening.
Boston.
Yes, somewhere in between those 2 points.
Somewhere in between Penticton and Boston.
That's correct, yeah.
And sorry, did you say it is believed he picked her up as she was hitchhiking? Is that what you said?
That's our belief, yes.
Why first degree? Can you elaborate on
Yeah, I mean, that's a decision made by our Crown Counsel. Yeah. Yes, so that was the question posed here. Yes, he's associated to that van. Yes.
There was some talk, Frank, about a ban. Is there still a ban in place of any sort of this?
Other than the white van that was seized?
No sort of ban.
Oh, a ban.
Yes.
Pardon me. Okay. Yes, there is. There's a Section 517 publication ban imposed on this case. So, yeah.
Okay. Next question you probably answered, but let's try. Any indication this photo was sexually assaulted?
Right. So I can't get into those details at this time. Yeah. Yes, they did. So soon after they were notified of their loved ones passing, we found out the next of kin and we alerted them right away. And you can imagine the shock of receiving that news, and made more difficult by the fact that it happened in a foreign land for them. So they've gone through quite an ordeal, and our deepest condolences go out to the family and friends of Ms. Sakelis. I understand there's a community that she was a part of while she was here, and they're grieving as well. And let me just take this opportunity to thank her friends, the people that knew her, who answered the call for the last time that I was up here asking for information. There were quite a few people that called in, and we thank them for that.
As much as you can, Frank, the timeline. Can you tell us when she was picked up? Do we know what time roughly she was picked up?
Right. Fortunately, I can't get into any more details. We know that she was alive that day, earlier that day, and her body was found at 7:45 p.m. that evening on August the 22nd. So she traveled from Penticton to her final resting spot that day. So we are still open to speaking with anyone that has information about this case. Certainly, it's not done. We are going to be supporting the prosecution for some time. That's the next phase in the investigation. But we still need to talk to people. Now that there is a photograph of Mr. McKenzie circulating in the media, if you recognize him, if you saw him, especially if you saw him with Emily Sakelis that day on August 22nd, that's important to us. That is incredibly important to us. So please, we are not done. Pick up the phone and call us.
And no, Frank, there's no other crimes with Frank. Nothing on his, no record at all. He's not known to police in any way.
Right.
He's clean.
Clean in terms of he does not have any negative interactions with police. He is not known to police. He's not known to police. He does not have a criminal record. So we got a call that evening, and that's all I can tell you is that we were alerted around 7:45 to an incident in that area just north of Boston Bar. So we attended, and unfortunately, we found the dead body of Emily Sakelis that evening.
Can you elaborate at all on the fact that Kenzie was at the scene when you attended and took him into custody? Can you give us any more details on that? Like, it's a bit of an interesting detail.
Right. And I
You
understand.
can't say the call came from him, obviously. You can give us any more details on.
So as Sarah said, he was at the scene, and he was arrested by officers at the scene. So he was there, right? And I can't get into any further details on that, obviously. I understand there's going to be questions. There's going to be lots of questions. And this is now before the court. So we have to respect that judicial process, also keeping in mind that there is a publication ban in place. So we have to stay tuned as this investigation is going to play out in court. So we have to wait for that.
How do he has no prior criminal record, he travels a lot for work.
Yes.
Is there a chance there are other victims, alleged victims of Mackenzie's that could be out there? This is what he's alleged to have done.
I certainly wouldn't rule anything out, but as far as IHID is concerned, we're focused on the homicide of 28-year-old Emily Sakelis. So we're asking for people who have information on our case. So to focus August 22nd, from Penticton to Boston Bar, sometime perhaps early afternoon, late afternoon, there was a white van traveling that route between Penticton and an area north of Boston Bar. If you saw Mr. McKenzie and if you saw Miss Emily Sakelis, if you saw them together, we need to speak to you today.
Okay, we're gonna go back to that timeline. Sorry, Frank. You want people to look and you remember anything. Can you give them a timeline in terms of when and where, and what time and what time?
August 22nd, anytime during that day. Anytime during that day, yeah.
Touched on this briefly already, but did he make the phone calls? Did Mr. McKenzie call him?
I'm not going to get into any of those details at this time, but there was a phone call made to the police, and that's what alerted us to that area where we found Ms. Sakelis deceased.
Do you have a body in the van?
So I'm not going to get into any of the details surrounding the physical evidence, okay? So I'm just going to reiterate again, it's before the courts, okay? We all must, as far as, you know, media, the public, and the police, we must respect that process, okay? And also there is a publication ban, okay?
And the area itself, sorry, Frank, can you, as much as you can about the area where she was found, what can you tell us about it?
My understanding is a very rural area. I haven't been there myself, but it's a little bit ways out of town. I think it's approximately 12 to 15 kilometers north of Boston Bar. Yeah, just off the side of Highway 1.
When the police arrived at your house, was Nikki just alone with the victim? Or anybody was there with him? Or when you received the call,
Yeah.
please get there.
So 7:45 p.m., August 22nd. That's when police arrived. Yeah, that's when we were alerted, and we arrived there soon after. Mackenzie would.
Somebody else was there?
Yeah, I will tell you, so I can confirm for you, one man has been charged with first-degree murder. Not two, not three. One person, Sean McKenzie of Oliver, BC, has been charged for the first-degree murder of Emily Sakelis.
What is the section 517 where you elaborate on?
I suppose you would probably educate us
Okay, no,
better
okay.
than that. I mean, it's a standard publication ban, and it's really to protect the integrity of the investigation and to not influence potential witnesses, perhaps, of details in the media.
No worries,
Yeah.
I just want to make sure I wasn't confusing you.
Yeah, it's yeah.
I know you can't really elaborate on this. You said you're not ruling anything out in terms of this particular suspect. Are you guys looking at any other cases around the province of missing persons or unsolved homicides in light of this arrest and the charges against McKenzie?
Yeah, I mean, I can't speak to other investigations. We're focused solely on Emily Sakelis' murder on August 22nd. We've worked hard for almost 4 months to compile the evidence. We forwarded it to Crown Counsel. They made the decision to lay a first-degree murder charge. So we will be supporting the prosecution in the days ahead. But we're still open to speaking with people, especially if they have information on that particular day on August 22nd. If you saw Mr. McKenzie, if you saw Emily, we need to speak to you today.